What's a stupid question that someone legitimately asked you? I was showing a friend a telescope and pointing out all the constellations and planets I knew, and he legitimately asked me, "Where's Earth?" Lower the telescope a bit. Lower. Lower. Keep going. "Can you turn him so we don't see the scratch on his cheek?" asked of me as we were reviewing the portrait photography of her son. No, ma'am, it's a picture. You should have asked this while we were in the camera room. My brother-in-law's girlfriend was amazed that I had 2 brothers and no sisters and asked me how that is possible because she thought that humans gave birth in a boy, girl sequence and couldn't wrap her mind around how someone could give birth to 3 boys and no girls. I'm not convinced that she is not some alien trying to pass off as a human and failing miserably. When I was little, I thought you got to choose the gender of your baby. When I was little, I thought babies were born with clothes on. I knew someone in 12th grade who had 8 brothers. They were 9 brothers total with no sisters. Turns out his dad really wanted a daughter and kept trying. Took him 9 tries to see a doctor. Turns out his sperm can't carry an X chromosome, so only the ones with a Y make it, or something. He's unable to daughter. I was selling a party tent 20 feet by 20 feet. Some rando on Marketplace asked me if it would fit in their backyard. Oh well, I don't know, never been to your backyard. Maybe measure if you have a 20 foot by 20 foot space? Another time, I was selling a black dress, also on Marketplace, and some woman asked me if it would meet the dress code for her new waitress's job at Chili's. How the f am I supposed to know that, lady? This kind of thing is so common in Facebook Marketplace, and it's hilarious. Edit. When I was in my mid-20s, I lived in a house share in southeast London. Our landlord was letting one of the rooms after one of our housemates moved out, and she gave them my number so the prospective tenants could message me and sort out times to come and see the house. I had people asking, what bus should I get to get there? And what stop do I need to get off at? Which, if you've ever lived in London, you'll know is the most ridiculous question. It's an enormous city, 671 square miles. I don't know what direction you're coming from. There are 675 different bus routes in London, and even the ones that overlap don't stop at the same stops. There will be so many different stops in a small area, and each main road might have, say, 4 or 5 different routes that stop on it, and only some stops cater to each route. Some routes come from similar directions, and some come from wildly different directions. It's not like the tube. This was about 11 years ago, so it's not a new thing. Some people just need others to hold their hand rather than Googling or doing the slightest bit of detective work. I refuse to Google things for random strangers. Used to be a whitewater raft guide? No end of dumb questions. One was, do the rocks in the river go all the way to the bottom? No, they're those special floating rocks. Also, do we get out where we started? Implying the river goes in a circle, like an amusement park ride. When I was 11, I went canoeing in a river with a friend. After many hours, we approached a waterfall and panicked and stopped at some lady's dock. She called my friend's mom to come get us. When asked why the heck we kept going for so many hours, I said, I thought rivers went in circles and we'd end up back where we started. Doh! How did they train all the dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park movies? The lawyer had a stake in his shirt pocket. I worked at Yellowstone National Park in the early 2000s, and one of the tourists, a French lady, came up and asked me when the animals were going to be brought out for people to see. During the time I worked for Xanterra, a guest left a remark like that on a comment card. I forget the exact wording, but it involved training the bears better. A lot of us thought it was supposed to be a joke, but with so many stupid questions and comments, it was hard to tell. I also worked in Yellowstone one summer. The tourist questions were amazing. Do they turn the waterfalls off at night? Where do you keep the animals in the winter? When do you think they'll reintroduce gorillas back into the park? I always read stories like this and thought they were embellished. Until the early 2000s, my spouse and I were camping in the Grand Tetons. We'd made sure to lock all our food and cooking supplies up as advised by the park rangers, but we'd left out our huge water jug we used to wash our hands and fill our water bottles. We came back to our campsite that evening to find it gone and a note from the park rangers about leaving bear attractants out and that we needed to collect it from the ranger station. Crap, I didn't think about a water jug being a bear attractant, but makes sense, I'll go grab it from the station. Whew, and thank God for that, because the ranger station was also where you go to reserve campsites, rent private cabins. I walk in and this lady was completely losing her mind on the poor kid working the campsite desk, just yelling about how her family vacation was ruined. What is he going to do? Fix it. And I'm a nosy so took my sweet time collecting my water jug so I could figure out exactly what happened. Mosquitoes happened. This lady was yelling at this kid because there were too many mosquitoes. He was trying to tell her where to buy bug spray and the bug-repelling candles, but no, it was his fault that the mosquitoes next to a lake in July were ruining her vacation, and she wouldn't be using chemicals to fix his mistake. What was he going to do to remedy this? He was like, "They're bugs. You're in nature. There's bugs and bigger things to worry about. We do have cabins to rent if you'd like." And she cut him off to again insist that the mosquitoes were out of control and he needed to do something about it now. The next day in Yellowstone, the traffic suddenly came to a standstill, and through a game of telephone between cars, we learned there was a bear with cubs near the road, so everyone wanted to stop to take pictures. Maybe 15 minutes later, people abandoned their cars and were walking up the road, small children in tow, to go get pictures with the bear. One lady dragging her very irritated toddler past our car. I told her, "Hey, there's a bear, not safe." And she said, "I know, we're gonna go take pics with it." And then she flipped me off when I told her bears aren't picky, toddlers are basically mobile picnic baskets. I used to live in South Florida, so there were a fair amount of alligators and tourists, which is not always a great mix, as you illustrated with the bears above. My parents once pulled over because there was a family, ostensibly tourists, standing in the grass near a gator with, I kid you not, a cooler full of raw meat. They were literally throwing pieces of meat to these gators and taking pictures for fun. My mom, from our car, was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Do you understand how dangerous this is? Do you know how fast they can be? They can drag you right back into the water." They were, of course, standing near a body of water. The people looked baffled, as if that had never occurred to them. How do people reach adulthood being that incredibly stupid? You think Forrest Gump is still alive? The person who asked this thought Forrest Gump was a real person, and his proof for his existence was he played for Alabama and met the president. When the special effects are too good. I was on the phone with an American-based hotel chain looking to book a hotel in Seoul. The agent wasn't familiar with that location, so I shared that it was in Korea. Kansas? No, the country, Korea. Silence while typing. North or South Korea? I refrained from pointing out the likelihood of an American chain having a location in North Korea. Me too! I tell people I lived in Korea, and someone always asks, North or South? Like if it was North, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you. Editing to add that given my Caucasian appearance, there is zero chance someone could mistake me for a North Korean. And yes, 100% of the time, it's an American asking. I suppose I should be proud of them for at least knowing there are two Koreas. Some drunk white girl on a train asked my friend where he was from. He said Nigeria. She asks him, "So how'd you come here? Do they have planes in Africa?" Lol, gotta give her credit for at least knowing that Nigeria is in Africa. Not me, but one time, some guy who was from the US who had driven to the west coast of Canada in the summer with his snowboard asked my grandma where the ski hill was while she was at the gas station. She was like, sir, There is no snow this time of the year. The American guy couldn't understand how there was no snow in summer. He was like, but this is Canada. Hell, even in winter these last couple years, there has been very little snow. I do recall hearing that the Whistler Ski Hill Resort is facing warming winters that will eventually shut it down forever. Is it true you all live in igloos? Asked by someone from the deep south when I worked help desk for IBM in Canada. Dead serious. Someone in New York asked me this. Like, Canada is 2 hours north of here, and you think it's cold enough for us to have igloos in the summer? As someone who was born and raised in Vegas in the 70s, I feel this. I was asked many times up until the 90s if I lived in a hotel and if I knew Wayne Newton. And wait, where do you live? Are there like houses and stuff?